can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? You know what we say at the pod, following Manchester United, following this great club is not good for your health. Today was a testament to that. Manchester United find a way to win in stoppage time. Scotty McSauce brace. Almost couldn't believe it. More of the same sad sack of shit football from this team in the first half. Not good enough. Another error from the goalie. Welcome to Manchester United. Enjoy it. And pressure was mounting, and the pressure is still there. But either way, somehow United find a way to win at home at the very end of the game. And you know what? The best of times, it was the worst of times, and this game certainly speaks to that. How we feeling? How we doing?
Sir, I'll tell you what. I was looking forward to international break, but I didn't think we'd be getting 3 points. Super happy that we were able to get it over the line. Shout out to Scotty McSauce. I mean, that's just great vibes all around. You know, he came onto the pitch, getting some criticism as of late, hasn't been able to find his footing, as a squad player in this team. And then he comes on and, huge burst of energy. What a finish for the first goal. Amazing header for the second goal. Somebody showing some fight with our back against the wall, like low energy FC, wet noodle FC. So, at the end of the day, it's a results-based game, and there's nothing quite like winning late at Old Trafford. First time in the English Premier League, we scored 2 in stoppage time to win. Unbelievable result for Manchester United and Erik ten Hag. We were dying for a win. We got one.
We were dying for a win, and we got one. You said it right, sir. I didn't feel like we were going to get it. We talked about this before the pod. The thing that made me the most depressed watching this game until the 90th minute was I actually had no faith this United side was going to get back into it just based on how this season's gone. Old United, even United that wasn't that good under Ole, I guess a couple times under Rangnick, but really just even the last 10 years, we have seen comebacks, especially at Old Trafford. I didn't envision it today. I didn't envision it the way we found it today, which was just hard-working, scrappy, full of gumption goals from Scotty McSauce, Academy lad, making his moment. And you know what? Exactly what we needed headed into international break. This team has big issues, big things that we need to fix. The manager's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but at least for an afternoon, for a weekend, United fans, they can enjoy 3 points, enjoy a comeback win. Because even when you play like shit for most of this game, nothing feels better than scoring 2 goals in stoppage time and watching all those Brentford fans and players celebrate. But a little too early, sir. That's the best feeling in the world.
I thought we were going to win. I really did. Even when it was kind of like the 70th minute, I kind of felt like we would get a goal. I tweeted it out. I said I didn't call the goal scorers right, but I was like, we're going to get a winner here.
Which is not like you. The eternal optimist. I wouldn't have guessed you to be pegging it on this game, especially.
No, I mean, I'm
the first
not
half
an
we had.
eternal. I'm not an eternal optimist at all. I mean, the takeaway from this game is hey, everybody, 3 points, international break. Just take a pause and the doom and gloom. It's at the end of the day, it's just good vibes, 3 points. Got to get healthy. Got to get going again on the other side. Is this the turnaround? It could be. International break is going to sap a little out of it as it relates to the bounce, right? If we came back midweek with Copenhagen and put together a result, and then all of a sudden you can kind of get some positive momentum on your side. Here, international break kind of kills it. Or is it going to get us healthy, and then we're going to just keep the buzz after? So, TBD on where this takes us. We've seen these amazing late winners before. Mourinho comes to mind, that Newcastle 3-2 with Sanchez, 90th minute winner. And he was sacked 2 months after that. So you don't really know when you have, on the ropes and you're barely beating Nottingham Forest and you're gutting out this win in stoppage time. You don't know where it's going to take you, but we'll take 3 points. We'll take a late win. Because what else do we want, So I just don't know where we're going to go from here. And obviously the 90 minutes where we didn't score isn't a good indication. So, at the end of the day, you got to take the good vibes, but there are a lot of question marks around this team and this club generally that we've been talking about at for no end.
A lot of questions, a lot of issues at United. But at the end of the day, I agree with what you say. It's like, you want to be able to capitalize on this result and build on it. Whether we will remains to be seen. But at least what it does is it eliminates a lot of the negativity that would have happened if we were to lose to Brentford at home. What was it? There's some stat they haven't won since 1934. So most importantly, you got a result. Still huge questions to be asked, but we need to get players back. We need to get back to basics. I was hoping that with the back three that we wouldn't concede a goal like we did, but it was another error from Onana, which is not great to see, but he needs time to settle in because we made our bet, and that's the bet we got to stick with for now. And he's
settle. So he should be benched.
He's due for a bench. I mean, after two errors in a row,
you got to I said bench De Gea last year. It's like you got to bench people, get a reaction. You got to bench Rashford. You got to get a reaction. Wayne Rooney wasn't above the bench. There isn't a player at Manchester United that's above like a harsh benching to try to turn up the heat a little bit. Get some dog out of players. It's been too much complacency at Manchester United. And you know what? The biggest red flag, right? We talked about the positive, the late winner, the manager needed it. And also, you don't have, if you had the loss, international break stews. It just stews brutal. The press and everything. So we're going to skip that, right? We're going to get some breathing room.
For now.
Players get healthy. TBD. Let's see how it goes. But the red flag for me is Brentford have no teeth in attack. They had no teeth. If they had anybody, if they had Tony, I think they probably would have put another one by us. If you put any other team there that has an attack, if you saw the chances they had, I think they could have gone up 2-0 and absolutely broke our back. So I do think it was a very poor Brentford side, and the fact that they didn't have anyone who could put it into the goal, I think really helped us at the end of the day here.
100%, because if you think about even the goal they scored, they shouldn't have scored it. It was like 3 individual errors from Manchester United players in a row. Casemiro, then Lindelof, and then the cherry on top with Onana's soft hand. They shouldn't have scored a goal. They had not much going forward. They did have their chances, like you said, but if they had a little more clinicality up front.
No, but we were putting on.
They got Mopai, bro. Mopai is if that's who they got, then they're in trouble.
No, but what I was saying is that we put on everything in the kitchen sink, and they were coming at us for the second goal and couldn't score it. There was no real risk at the end of the day. And if you do that to a better team, like we saw with Galatasaray, they're going to punish you.
Yep.
And I'm just saying that this whole Ole vibes winning it at the end, it was really kind of, I think, played into our hands because Brentford are horrid and they got no one who can score a goal. But, sir, we'll break it down. We got a quick PSA for the podcast. We are the American Red Devils. If you like the Muppet Take, the ups and downs of watching this club, holy crap, this has been a hell of a season so far. And you want to support us, check out our Patreon page. You help keep the podcast ad-free. Every dollar of support matters. Check it out, patreon.com/American Red Devils. Tons of other benefits as well. Join the creme de la creme of the American Red Devils community. 4 fans, 5 fans, baby. You want to read some fan blogs, check out AmericanRedDevils.com. Also check out our store, AmericanRedDevils.store. Eric Ten Hag's Red Army scarf. It's up on the store for sale. Code EFL Cup for $5 off. Grab a fresh scarf. Support the pod. Sir, tell about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews are a great way to support the pod. Help us get found organically by other top Muppets like yourself. And even better, we're giving away free scarves, free merch designed by the American Red Devils. All you have to do is write a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify and send a screenshot of that 5-star review to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com. with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship a free ARD scarf. Send it right to your door anywhere in the world. Here's a great one from Baj Sid, 5 stars, United in Shambles, best United pod around, helps me keep up to date with all the news and drama surrounding our club. Been thinking of the number 9 position for a while and think we should give Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord in the Dutch League a shot. He has proven he is a goal scorer. Surprised Eric Ten Hag hasn't thought of him. Could be Chicharito 2.0. What do you guys think? I don't know, but I like the sound of him. If he's Dutch, I'm sure our manager will be all over him, or if he plays in the Dutch league. So either way, appreciate everyone writing 5-star reviews. They go a huge distance to help us get found and, find those other top Muppets that want to break down Manchester United beating Brentford at the death while never looking that convincing until, late on.
Let's break it down, sir.
Let's break it down. Let's get in that 11. It was a 4-2-3-1. We had Onana.
We got some music. We usually play some music breaking down games in 2023 here.
John's laughing because he's at home and he's in the air conditioner, and it's fucking so hot in Northern California right now. I'm dying. It's like the sun is directly facing, heat of the day, 2:00. I'm baking in there.
Look, it was one of those decisions I had to make. I had to be a little selfish here because I was like, I don't want to. I love you, sir, but sitting in that bunker with you, sweating.
Like the hottest day of the year.
I figure I prefer to just throw you jabs over the soundboard here via Skype. Well, let's get into that 11. We had Onana in net, the world's number. I don't know how many goalkeepers are on the world, but he's not looking too great. Delo at right back. Magoo, Evans, heart attack, center back pairing with Victor Lindelof on the left. Casemiro, Amrabat midfield, Mount at 10, Bruno on the right, Rashford on the left, and Højlund up top. Sir, what'd you make of this 11? How are you feeling? You woke up, checked your phone. Walk me through it.
Heartburn. Well, at first I was like, is he playing a back three? Is he going to play Amrabat as a fullback or a wingback? I had no idea. It actually turned out to be a back four with Lindelof playing left back, Delo on the right. I think that was good. You had to switch it up. I mean, Varane's injured again, which, we could have told you that when we signed him because that's probably why Real Madrid were looking to get rid of him, but he is out again. And given the fact that we have all those injuries, give Maguire a shot. Give Johnny Evans a shot. I think the midfield makes sense. Maybe we want to see Eriksen, but I think the front three, is totally logical. What did you think when you saw us 11?
I like the back four. Shore it up at home. Okay. I'm Rabat. Let's go. He has dog in him. He's been out of position. Let's see him in position. Makes him Mount coming in at 10. I'd rather just pick one. Pick Bruno or Mount. Put Palestri on the right. There's just not balance in the attack. I think it does not work. Rashford also out of form. It just really came out and it was stale. I mean, even to start the game, we were all over the place. Brentford all over us. Then we had a good spell right before the goal. But, we've seen this movie before, sir. Everything's coming up absolute shit for United.
The 26th minute. Here we go.
Win it back. And this is promising. Wissa. And Lindelof hasn't cleared it very well at all. He had some shot. It scores through to silence Old Trafford again this
season. And you talk about getting some luck at the end of the game. I mean, this is just like a confederacy of dunces here. And, 3 errors in a row from Manchester United players. Casemiro gives the ball away. Lindelof does a half clearance back to a Brentford player, and then Onana does the rubber band wrists, and that ain't gonna work, buddy. So his bad fortune continues. His bad form continues.
It's a save. For me, whatever. Casemiro makes an error.
No, you have to save it either way. It's not that good of a shot. You have to save it.
This shot is.
He's the most culpable because he's a goalie, and if that happens, you got to. It's right.
I've never seen that go in like that.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Because De Gea let it in against Brentford last year. They showed me on Twitter. I was thinking how much I missed De Gea today, sir. Finally thinking
that didn't hit his hand. De Gea just whiffed. This guy hit it and it went backwards. It doesn't make any sense to me. But at the end of the day, look, this is on Erik ten Hag. He makes this big change and it's gonna get. I said we're gonna concede more. I couldn't have. I said be careful what you wish for. Couldn't have ever. I was like, okay, we signed Onana. He came in and said the right things. I could never imagine him playing it this bad. This is not who he is. But at the end of the day, this is just a brutal change that we made, and it's not going great. And I thought, honestly, it was after the last game, it's after Galatasaray, it was he should be dropped for whoever that guy is who we signed to be backup. We need to get somebody in there who can do a job because Onana's not – whether he is the guy and he needs a break – you got to protect some players, right?
100%, especially goalies. Goalies in any sport, it's a lonely position. It's like you get into your head. You have to be a different type of temperament in order to weather the storm that is being a goalie in pro sports. He needs a break. He's had error after error after error. No one could have seen it starting this badly. He's a player that's obviously of high caliber. We didn't just pick him up off the street. And he's playing probably as poorly as he played in his career. So like you said, you got to bench him because you got to protect the player at a certain point. Because right now, you're just going from bad to worse. And this could be a situation where you're like 3 games in a row and the goalie's costing you wins.
Well, thank God for a national break. 37th minute, Rashford snapshot again. Nothing doing really. We had a lot of the ball, could not create chances. That is a huge concern. 38th minute, Brentford go wide, and then 44th they go close again. They were hitting us with the long throws. We were just completely discombobulated. Like again, Brentford with the long throw, like the throw-in just threatening us is just a riot. Second half sub, Eriksson for Casemiro, manager making a move here. Cass gave away the ball for the goal. That's kind of like, hey, take a seat. Eriksson comes in. What do you make about that?
You know, I think when Eriksson came in the second half against Galatasaray, I think that helped. I think he's better on the ball. I wasn't sure he was going to take off Casemiro. Like, I guess he gave the arrow away. Was he playing that well? He's been playing a lot of minutes. His legs are getting there. But, you know, Eriksson coming in is never a bad thing when we need a goal. And he was involved in a lot.
53rd, Eriksson, nice hit from outside the box, forces the keeper into a save. 55th, Delo clears off the line. United looking vulnerable. This is the long
throw in. Remember that?
56, Rashford blazes one just wide. 63rd, double sub, Anthony and Garnacho for Mount and Rashford. I think we talk about the manager making the adjustment. This change here, as much as, I believe Anthony is a bluffer and I have no comment on the off the pitch stuff. This changed the game completely.
We played much better.
And the reason ultimately is Anthony went on the right, Garnacho on the left, and there was balance in our attack.
And Bruno's in the middle again, where he belongs.
And Bruno was on the middle, right? And so this changed it positively. I felt after this change we would score just because the way Brentford, they look so haggard. They look so like they were hanging on by a thread. But this one was like, this really shows you how bad Ten Hag has been getting it wrong, right? Because these players come in and then we look completely different. We're like holding onto the ball, we're attacking from the left wing, from the right. Like there's so much balance into our buildup, and this changed the game. And it's like, why have we been playing Rashford on the left, undroppable, and Bruno on the right? That whole thing has been killing us, and it's been brutally awful, right? And this, I think, hopefully he saw it. Hopefully we don't see that anymore. Because when you play Rashford, it's like he holds onto the ball. He comes central. I just feel like he's sacrificing Højlund a little bit. I don't know. I just think changing it in this way just like showed something else for United that we need.
If you put an attacking mid on the wing, right, everyone like puts all the men to guard Rashford. So Rashford has got 3-4 men on him, and they know that like Mount's not going to beat you for speed. Neither is Bruno. So that's not where they're meant to play. They should play in the middle of the park. When Bruno was able to play in a more floating role all around the pitch, we were much better. We created a lot more chances after these double sub, like you said.
64th, Højlund beats his man, rips a shot against the side netting. 71st, Martial for Lindelof. This is the kitchen sink, right? Brentford did have some nice runs at us, but again, like I said, they have nobody on their team who could probably score. 72nd, Bruno forces the keeper into another save. 75th, United break, but Anthony gets the pass all wrong. Anthony also had a big whiff on a great rebound.
That was an incredible whiff.
Absolute riot.
Incredible whiff.
77th, Garnacho with a great chance, blasted over. He goes close. Onana with a big save. Mopai gets a chance, half chance here on the break for Brentford. A little bit more quality. We could have been hurt there. 84th, Onana coming up with another save. This is when we're all in, going for it. 87th, McTominay for Amrabat. Who would think Amrabat was a ghost?
He was.
As you look at, he didn't have a good rating today. McTominay comes in and he was the juice we needed. 89th, we did score, but Martial was offsides. And then let's get into the 2 goals. McSauce changing the game.
93rd minute.
Get a cross in. Still Garnacho. Did he run out of space there? Not quite. The shot from Dallo. Spilled by Strakosha. Still not clear.
I don't care how shit we play. Nothing feels better than that. We just gotten a goal overturned like a couple minutes earlier. So now, like, every goal we scored today, I assumed it was getting overturned because, that's just the way things have been going. But what a goal from United. Just keeps on pushing. What a goal from Scott McTominay, right? Like, deflection, he controls it very well and then slams it into the corner. It's, dare I say, it looks like a striker's goal for a guy who plays in midfield. So there's a reason he's been playing up front for Scotland, sir.
What a take. Like, what a take from McTominay. I mean, he created his chance, created the goal. He had 2 shots. He was all over the place. And then in the 97th.
It's what we live for, 97th minute.
Time. Bruno Fernandes pumps it forward. Maguire goes up. And McTominay's in there. That's what football can do. Scott McTominay, the biggest of late doubles from the bench. And a moment to turn the tide this early in the season for Manchester United. It's brutal for the Bees.
I don't care how badly things are going for you. I don't care if it was undeserved. I don't care, whatever. Everything's going against you. You're not playing well. You're getting some bad luck, lots of injuries. Something like this happens. I'm not saying it's going to be the turning point. I want it to be, but the look in the players' faces, the look in the fans' faces, like, there's no feeling better. Shout out to Maguire. He actually had a solid game, puts in a great ball. And McTominay, like you said, dude, great finish. The goalie gets a hand on it, pushes off the bar, and it's like Old Trafford erupts, and that is one of the finest feelings there is.
What a win. Like I said, credit McTominay. He's been on the outs. Also got a lot of hate not running in that Bayern game. But he comes in and he's a difference maker. The problem with Manchester United is consistency. We have consistency across the squad, consistency across the performances, and it's just, we're just grabbing at straws. And, hey, McSauce, we've seen this before, the scoring the goal against City in the rain pre-COVID. I mean, I still think that's the highest point that we ever had in the post Sir Alex Ferguson era, right before the pandemic, that would then just kneecap us. But here you go. I mean, like, he's got it. I said, I defended him. He's the squad player you keep, right? He can play in a back 3. He can play as number 10. You can even put him forward late in the game. He's dangerous. He has height. He has dog in him. But I don't think we figured out how to best use him, other than just, hey, this is the kitchen sink. Go get it. And he does it. But he's got something in him. He's got it for Scotland. I just don't know if Manchester United is getting the best out of him on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and then, he was probably angling for a move this summer, which you couldn't blame him for. Didn't happen. There was the Bayern moment. But we know he's a player, like you said, that has the ability to play in a lot of different positions. He's got great feet in the box. He's a good finisher. He's good in the air. And he's got that dog factor, which we don't have enough of. So he's a useful player to have around at the end of the day. I'm glad we do. It's about using that when you're not just, 86 minute, almost too late. But somehow he found a way, and those were not easy goals, either of them. And he did an unbelievable job, and man of the match. And you know what? Like, we need a little positivity to grasp onto. This gives us something. And it's better than the vortex of shit that we'd be headed into this international break if United lost 1-0 like it was looking like at 90th minute.
No, we have to be talking about Erik ten Hag's job.
No, we would. Of course we would.
It would all be all over the papers. I mean, he wouldn't go. I mean, like, he wouldn't. They'd be crazy to get rid of him, but it would definitely be in the it would just definitely be a conversation. And, like, as far as international breaks go, you don't want to be like back page for. You don't want to be back page for 2 weeks, And so at the end of the day, like, look, big win, whatever we're in whatever it takes. Win ugly, like,
win,
get
baby,
3
win.
points, like, from a penalty that you don't deserve. It don't matter, right? We are in just, like, survival mode, like, in the desert, looking for, like, water, or like, do whatever. Like, it's like, this isn't nitpick the team. Jumping to the stats, 21 shots to United, 11 for Brentford, 8 on target. A lot of that come in late. 3 for Brentford, 64% of the ball to their 36%. And, Each of Scott McTominay's last 10 Premier League goals for Manchester United have come at Old Trafford. Only Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had a longer run of goals come consecutively on home soil in a competition for the Red Devils. That was in 1999 to 2000. And for the first time in the Premier League history, like I mentioned, Manchester United trailed going into the 90th minute of a match, but then got on to win. Usually we score in like the late 80s, then put the dagger in at stoppage time. So I thought that was an amazing stat, given the legend of Fergie time, sir. But what do we know? Let's check in with the bald man, Eric Ten Hag. I'm sure he was playing down this one.
Let's hear it.
I think on the line you don't have time to be in doubt. You have to think how till the last minute how you can turn this and how you kept the belief, how you can influence the process. And so, yeah, I was not in doubt. I don't have time for that. I have to coach the team.
Scott McTominay as well. What does that say about his mentality? He's come on the 8th and do what he did.
A lot. He's Man United in every vein, in his heart. So he's playing for the badge. He gives his life. And when you're coming on and you give this to the team, that tells a lot. It tells also a lot about this dressing room. They are together. And also, I felt the whole afternoon strong togetherness with the fans, because even when we were losing, they kept standing behind us. They kept us going. The team kept going, and finally we get rewarded.
So I'll tell you what, it happens to every manager of Manchester United. You age like fucking like Benjamin Button in reverse. It's like, he's gonna look like getting off the grade if he makes it another year. Not an easy job, like you said. And thankfully, we're out of the papers for at least another 2 weeks until there's a meltdown after international break. Hopefully there isn't. Hope we can turn the tide. We've got some big games coming after the break, sir. Want to look at those?
Well, here's the deal. Just a little level set. I feel like when you're in crisis mode after 8 matches in the league, I'm breaking my rule. You got to look at the table. You got to look at the table.
Now you got to look at the table? I thought we didn't have to look at the table.
You got to look at it now.
You got to look at the table. You're changing your own rules. You've been saying you don't look until after Christmas for literally a decade. I've known you forever,
sir. I'll take it. Yeah. You know why you don't look at – so it's okay, let me explain the rules. Okay. Have you ever seen the thing break glass in case of emergency? That's looking at the table, right?
We're start looking at the table. I'm pretty sure we're the top half.
When you need to break the glass and you need to be all right,
where are we?
Are we gonna get relegated? When you're worried about the downside, you look at it, or the reason why you don't look at it is because usually the title race isn't decided after December. So I'm not gonna pick a team. Hey, Tottenham, they're playing well. They're top of the table. You shouldn't be looking at it. You shouldn't be looking at it because a lot of shit's gonna go down, and they're probably not gonna be top come March or April, right? So that's why when you're kind of in the mix, you don't want to be looking at it until late. When you're kind of dying, you got to look at it to say, okay, how screwed are we? How bad is our season? We're sitting on 12 points. We're only 5 behind Arsenal. We're only 4 behind the Scouse Bastards, right? And you're really looking at if we could somehow turn it around to get kind of back in the mix, right? That's important to be thinking about. We have played so bad,
and we actually better than we could be.
To be where we are is it you have to be thinking of the Nottingham Forest game, the games that we won to even get here, the Wolves game where we shouldn't have won that one. Nottingham Forest, the crazy comeback, Burnley hanging on away, Brentford today 2 in stoppage time. It took those results for us to A, have points, and then B, not be so far off it. So if this late winter gives us the juice and we can get some health and we can scrap some of these, lower table wins like the Sheffields, the Fulhams, the Luton, Everton, if we can start chipping up, could be okay, right? There is there hope? Am I being glass half full? I'm just trying to say,
I love it. That's John. This is great. I'll tell you what, I might be boiling in here. I'm dying. I'm sweating. But you're making me feel better because you're right. It's you can't write off a season the first week of October. And, you know, like we haven't fixed nothing yet, but like, let's see where we are in a month. And we're not that far off it. Like you said, a bunch of teams have to play tomorrow. We've played 8, a bunch have played 7, but we're like 4 points off top 4. And at the end of the day, that's the bare minimum. We got to get back into the Champions League. And we have got to, like, we have City. That's going to be really challenging, of course. We're playing at home, but it's City. And then we have the EFL Cup. We got Champions League games. Those are very important. 2 against Copenhagen. We got to win both of them. But the league games, other than we got Sheffield, Luton, Fulham, who are not playing like they played last year, and Everton, who are playing like Everton. So we got to be able to pick up points. We also have to get some injuries back, figure out a style of play, figure out 11. I think he's been tinkering too much. Maybe that's because of the injuries. But, like, you got to stop putting our best player on the fucking wing, play a winger. And if you can't, you don't always have to play all the midfielders.
I don't think he has been tinkering. I think that's the problem. He's just been doing the same
lineup's
thing.
been the same. Like
playing
it's been
shit.
different in every 11. We keep changing it up. I mean,
Not the Rashford on the left and Bruno on the right. He has not changed that up. Like, you know, and Amrabat didn't play left back after he was the reason we conceded 2 against Galatasaray. I mean, like, what do you do? Like, I just don't think the manager, he needs to be like, get Scotty and McTominay in there, you got to be like wholesale changes. You got to be looking for something here. And I hope that we can come back, get some injury boosts, and, you know, kick on to a more predictable season. But number one is like, that's the glass half full. It should be way worse. And we are we are in a much better place than we should be, right? That is kind of the MO 8 games in. It's like, okay, hell of a win, buzz in. You look at the table, it's not all lost. Let's see if we can put together some sort of performances. Now you got to get to the glass half empty part, right? Which is we have played horrible football in every game except for one, which was against the Crystal Palace B team in the EFL Cup. That is the only game where the game plan worked, the players played well, and we had a solid victory. Other than that, it has just been absolutely grasping at straws. We're all over the place. And the most concerning thing is the signings that the manager has made are all like Mount, not bad, not helping. Amrabat, not helping. Onana, not helping.
Hoyland's the only one that's actually like
Hoyland is like
undoubted success already. Even he hasn't scored a goal in the EPL. It's like you could tell he's a contributor. He's better than Martial, and he's a player.
But he's not. But like my point with Hoyland is like he's not the solution, right? Hoyland in and of himself is not the solution, especially if the manager is going to play Bruno on the right and Rashford on the left. That doesn't seem to be helping Hoyland. You put Garnacho then, and then all of a sudden Hoyland looks so much more dangerous. There's a reason for that. And at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is like, I don't see how this squad that has been assembled is ever going to get figured out. Like, I just see like a mishmash of players that are moving around, and I don't see it. I don't see it in the way we play. I don't see it in the players we brought in. You know, we brought in Mason Mount to like outsmart everyone to play 2 10s, and it just does not work, and it does not look good. And the problem that I have is we have watched years and years of shit football at Manchester United, and it just kills me. Even though we won today, that 90 minutes is horrid. It stunk. We are bad. The players are bad, and the system is bad. And something's got to give. And it's got to change. Otherwise, we're going to keep seeing it. And so I hope this international break, the manager can figure it out. But, man, you have to be looking in the mirror and being like, this is some of the worst football we have played.
Especially where we came from last year, 100%. I mean, this season, given that we got 4 wins in the league out of 8, it doesn't feel that way based on how we played. We've played all over the park. We've given up some of the shittiest goals I've ever seen. We've had individual errors from the goalie, from players. We haven't been able to score. And you know what? It's got to get better from here. So I'm hoping we can put something together, figuring out an 11 that makes sense week in, week out, by and large, and start building some momentum, start getting some clean sheets, start getting some confidence back on the boys who have joined so the Mason Mounts can shine, so Onana can show his worth. Because at the end of the day, those are the players we went with. We got to back them because that's all we got. And this is an amalgamation of teams, right? Because you got no DOF, so you got no continuity between managers, so that's what you're going to get. And we got to just get it through winning. And the only way to start winning is like one foot after another. We got to go to Sheffield and get a big result, and that's going to be tough coming out of an international break. But they're a shit team, and they're there for the taking. And those are the
here's
games
the
you
deal.
can't be losing. Those are the games you can't be dropping points. You have to win, and you have to win convincingly so you can get some momentum going into Copenhagen.
I totally agree. I look, I totally agree. And what I'm trying to I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to say there is a, hey, we the glass half full is look, season's not toast by any means. But the whole point is the more that we play like crap, the
less
more it's going to
confidence
go
you
away.
have.
You got to turn it around.
Yeah.
You got to turn it around. It has to be turned around. Brentford wasn't the turnaround, but that could the stoppage time win could be the point where we just kind of all of a sudden go on a tear, which we've seen in the past. But look, we have -3 goal differential. The only other who has -3? Everton. Brentford have -1. Nottingham Forest -2. Wolves -5. All those teams are below 15th in the league. I mean, we are as far as team goals we have scored, it's we're in the Fulham Nottingham Forest camp, Everton camp. You saying Hoyland's the solution, it's we are not scoring goals.
You were criticizing the signings that the manager made, and I'm saying there's no doubt that Hoyland's going to be a player.
But he's I agree with you.
He is going to I agree. We can't count on him today, but he is going to be a good signing. You're not going to look back and be we overpaid for. I don't think you will. I think you were there's not that many strikers.
I agree with that. But my point is you don't the players that we signed in the offseason were to improve upon where we were last year. And unfortunately, the majority it doesn't look like that is what.
Well, the goalie started off very poorly, so obviously that feels like not an upgrade.
No, but I'm trying to get to the scoring point. So the signings, I think the signings have not. The manager deserves the criticism on the system and how we're performing, right? But then also the players he's brought in have not come good so far, right? And so Hoyland, yes, has he scored? Does he look like a player? I agree, but our XG is 10th in the league. Away from home, we are 14th in the EPL, 1.2 XG on average this season. That is going to be the backbreaker, right? If we cannot score goals, again, what I'm trying to say is our XG is the same as Brentford, West Ham, and Crystal Palace. Did you see the Brentford attack today?
Dude, we talked about this
creating
going
opportunities.
We talked about this going into the season.
Thing.
We talked about this going into the season, right? Rashford was our whole team last year. He scored 30 goals. The likelihood that he's going to score 30 goals or more again is very unlikely. That's he hasn't started the season well. He has 1 goal. So that's.
But this is XG, right? It's just are we creating chances? And so the theme that I'm trying to say.
We played like shit, so you're not going to create much.
So when the only point I'm trying to make is if you watch the Brentford game, that full 90 minutes, we had a lot of the ball, but we weren't creating chances. The system of attack and the way we are playing and the players that we put on the pitch are not working the ball in the final third to create scoring opportunities. That is not going to be good for Hoyland. It's not his fault. That's not going to be good for Rashford, right? And so the whole point I'm trying to say is the play out from the back, get it to the midfielders, break the lines, and then shoot the ball at the goal. That's what XG is telling you, and we are bad at it. And that is going to continue to be the case. And that is the biggest concern for me. So when we go away from home, we are bad at creating scoring chances. And that is what makes me concerned. This is just the pragmatic view that we do not create scoring opportunities. And you saw it today. Until we literally took off center backs and started putting on forwards, we were not hitting the target. And that was the real issue today.
I mean, I can't argue that we haven't scored goals, that we haven't created enough. My hope, and I'm not fucking saying this bunch of bluffers is going to do it, but if you play better football, you're going to create more chances. And we haven't played good football at the end of the day. We've played it in patches. We haven't played it in 90 minutes, except for the one game you mentioned against a B team. And if we start to play with an identity and a continuity across games and actually start playing like we know this team is capable of playing like we saw last year, they will create more chances. We always were worried about the amount of goals you're going to get out of this side because Anthony doesn't have much in him. Sancho's a goner. Garnacho's still young. Like I said, Hoyland, he's going to be a good player, but today he's still a 20-year-old that hasn't scored in the EPL and needs time. Who else? Rashford isn't a consistent goal scorer, especially from the wing. Goals are challenging. Our number 1 goal scorer right now is Casemiro. So it's we're in a tough position because you got to play better, and at the end of the day, you got to take the chances you get. We don't seem to take our chances. We don't seem to make enough chances.
No, it's totally true. And like, here's the deal: when I'm talking about XG away, we're 14th in the league at creating scoring opportunities away from home. We're going to play Sheffield United. They are a bad team. I think this is an easy win. Like, again, I expect us to beat Brentford today. I expect it to be a little easier, but I expect us to beat Sheffield United away. This can't be a draw. It has to be a win.
Have to win.
Then you have to beat Copenhagen at home. I've never felt like what happened to Manchester United at home. Like, I was more worried about playing Brentford at home. Like, I was like, we are just so bad that like we shouldn't be nervous about Copenhagen at home, but I'm nervous about it. And then we have City coming in, and that is a brutal. Then you have EFL Cup Newcastle.
Also tough match.
Sorry, it's it's all about Sheffield United. At this point, you can't be looking down the pipe. You just got to say, hey, can we show up and play good football? We show up and play good football.
Next game.
Get some momentum. That's all we need. But, you start that City game is – I have not missed a match in like a long, long time. And that one might be one where you don't need to watch it.
I'll be there. I will be there for all the goals, all the goals they score against us. When you sit in – and watch yourself get battered at home against the Scouse Bastards, our fiercest rival, the one we hate the most. There's nothing.
When you fly 11 hours, take the train to Manchester, like in the cold, sir.
Shitty weather.
Stand all game. Just take that on the chin.
The Blaze was up for it. That was the best part, though. The Blaze was ripping. United fans, they're full of confidence heading into that game. But I'll tell you what, the air went out of Old Trafford in the second minute. And then it found its voice in the 85th to try and drown out the Scousers.
All right, so let's get into some news. United in the news. Let's go. Simon Stone, Manchester United chief operating officer Colette Roche has apologized to fans affected by the problems on Tuesday. In an email, says the number of Galatasaray fans who bought tickets in corporate areas was unacceptable. Manchester United are investigating how they got all these tickets. As season ticket holders, we know way too much about this subject than we should. But basically, what happens is United has changed the way they deal with tickets. So for anyone who doesn't know, it's not like in America where it's just like a free market. You can just sell your ticket. If you have a ticket to the Giants season tickets, you can just sell it on the open market for whatever, and anyone can buy it and they can go to the game. No. You have to have a membership. And if you have season tickets, you can hold your ticket, you can go to the game, or you can transfer them to other members. And so they did write this big email and this big, misconceptions of what's happening, blah, 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 of with the tickets. And the whole thing is and you and me are very we do everything by the book, because if you do anything wrong, they'll take your tickets away, et cetera. Right. So, we primarily donate them to the foundation. Right. And then the club actually resells them. And then they take the money and then they put that towards the Manchester United Foundation.
Allegedly.
No, but and so they started kind of do it because they started this whole you have to go to the game or donate them, right? And so then people have been donating them, and then last season it came out that someone donated their seats, and then they saw that they were being sold as hospitality. For $400 a pop, right? And so you can't resell them, but Manchester United can, and they're going to do it and then just sell them to other fans. And so this has been going on for a while, and it's been a new policy, and clearly they are trading in some way. And I don't know if it's when you donate them, they're sold a different way, and then if you resell them, you can only resell them for the amount of the value of the ticket, right? So you can resell them, but then that makes it so that you actually can't. It hurts your status for getting new seats or applying for away seats, which is a whole nother thing. And so at the end of the day, what I think happened is people have been donating them and then reselling them, and then Galatasaray fans were just buying them. And then United said nobody without a membership didn't purchase a ticket.
So these guys just got
the Galatasaray fans signed up for 40 quid, got a membership, and bought a ticket, dude. It's like, no, duh. It's like, and so now they're saying, well, now anyone who didn't have a membership before the fixture was made can't buy the ticket, right? So clearly they did it, and they all this like fake news they put out is like totally BS. So this whole resale component where Manchester United has been making money, clearly Glazers scam. And all they're doing is like they knew they were selling all these United memberships to these Turkish fans, and they were just buying the tickets, and they didn't think about the safety, which is crazy. But that's the Glazers, dude. And I hate how they try to like fake news. Like,
no, they victim blame. They do like the email was like insane, the wording of it, because this is just an encapsulation of the rot at Manchester United from top to bottom. We can talk all about the on-field stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like until these Glazers are gone, this club is fucked because it's run like a joke. This does not happen at other clubs. And if you like, even us who have only gotten season tickets for a couple of years, like even the process to get them once you have them is not what it should be for, you know, the most famous football club in the entire world or one of the most famous sports franchises in the entire world. So it's endemic. It seeps through every area and every facet of the club. And sorry, you got any good sale updates? Anyone making bids? Anyone flexing?
Well, just to put a final point on it with the tickets is that, you know, it was a convoluted explanation, so apologies if it didn't make sense. Everything with the tickets is very convoluted.
Everything.
But when it comes to running a football club, like you said, this is something that's never been seen before. It's like away fans have to sit in a certain section, otherwise it's dangerous. And the fact that they are like letting this happen and nobody is like thinking about the repercussions or like speaking up that they shouldn't be doing this or like seeing this ahead of hand is scary. I mean, these fans are like ripping down banners. They're like
Flares.
literally like they're like pissing on Old Trafford, like just literally like F you.
Yeah.
And they beat us. And it's like, and this is like salt in the wound. And this is the Glazers component. So again, like don't believe what they said. But it's just been absolute brutal. With the sale update, Sheikh Hassim holding at $5 billion, Ratcliffe, the rumor about the minority deal. Again, the Rain Group who's trying to get a transaction. So the investment bank does not get paid their exorbitant fee if they don't sell the asset, right? So I think this might be a last hurrah, so to speak, to float this minority deal with Ratcliffe to get Sheikh. This is all trying to get Sheikh to pay.
Pay up, right? To overpay.
He's holding at 5. Holding at 5.
Come on, baby, raise
minority
it.
Minority deal. And so it's just one of those things where it's like, you wish that somebody could get a deal done here, a majority control deal, right? Minority Ratcliffe doesn't help. You need someone to change the ownership, and if the last person to do so is the Sheikh, come on, Sheikh,
come on. Sheikh. Just someone
pay up,
take them out.
This is the last hurrah. This is the last one we got in the race.
You
got to be cheering them on because holy crap, we
need it.
You know,
this club.
We do need it. I don't know if it's going to make this team play better, but it will make the decades to come much brighter if we can have an owner who can run this football club in a competent fashion.
This is the most important story in Manchester United, you know, because at the end of the day, what happens on the pitch, decisions made, it all rolls downhill. And we know the issues. The issues are very obvious. Other clubs know the issues. And the only way those issues hopefully could change, and there's not even a guarantee they can change. We could get a new owner and they could fuck it up. It'd be a whole disaster. But we know the Glazers ain't going to get there. They're not going to learn. They don't give a shit about this team or the fans or being successful beyond just making Champions League money. So this is just a chance at a fresh start, and there's no guarantee that fresh start will lead to success. But like Jesus Christ, the Glazers have been here now for 2 decades, and they have screwed the pooch, sir. They just that'll be a Harvard case study of how to fucking bottle one of the great sports franchises of all time.
Well, I also want to highlight Qatar owns PSG, and PSG just got smoked by Newcastle 4-1 in the Champions League.
Yep.
Right, and so there is a takeaway.
That's what I'm saying.
From that to say, you know, and credit to you, your boy Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe is your boy. as it relates to managers,
Not
right?
anymore. Not anymore. Because now
But
I did like him
Eddie
back in the
Howe.
day.
You always said Eddie Howe, head of Manchester United, coach of Manchester United. Now the problem why he would fail is because the Glazers have been sticking their hand in like the bear trap with just buying Antony's, buying Sanchez's, buying like just this whole thing that we do is just, if you look at the way Newcastle has done it, and it beats PSG, it beats Qatar, it beats Mbappe, it beats the Ferraris, and that is the new it's a new model. And I think it's the right model, right? So if I was buying a football club, I would be looking at Newcastle. I'd be looking at the failure of PSG. And we're kind of PSG light, right? We don't have Mbappe, we got Antony. We don't quite
We got Rashford.
We don't have Messi, we got Bruno, right? We don't have these guys, but they're the same overpaid, like think you're so good even though you haven't won it. Like they haven't won the Champions League. They win the French League. They think they're a big deal. We win the FL Cup. We think we're a big deal. There are parallels as overpaid, underperforming all-star teams.
Bad management. I mean, bad directors, all that stuff.
Well, player power issues at PSG, player power issues at United. So it's like you look at Newcastle under Eddie Howe, he would have failed here. But the fact that they're taking that, not blowing up the wage structure, keeping everyone hungry, I just think that is the new model, and it's something to take into account when you're thinking about, a new owner or how United should be built, right? And I think the wage structure with Sancho and Rashford and Bruno, these high-paid guys underperforming, it's just not good. You'd rather have younger, hungry players all on sort of an even wage cap where you don't have to deal with the drama. I feel like the Sanchez signing is none of these big money signings have come off.
No, even the older players. Like, do you think? I don't want to be Newcastle because of the owners and the way their fans have just like embraced their owners with such a warm hug. But like the Varans and the Casemiros, like Varane is amazing, amazing when he's not injured, but he's injured every other game. It's like he's not consistent, and then you're paying him fucking sky high wages, whatever, $350 a week. Casemiro, incredible last year. You give him a 4-year deal. Exactly. You give him these 4-year deals. And like he doesn't have the injury issue, but like he's not showing the same consistency you would see from a 26-year-old. So it's like there's no foresight. This club is shooting at the fucking hip, bro. It's like we don't have a director of football. The guy who's running our club, they don't deserve to be there. So they're gonna make bad decisions.
$77 million deal. Casemiro, $77 million.
Yeah, when's it end? 26 or 25?
26, 27.
26, 27. It ends at 27. 27.
I think that's
extra.
I think that might be an, but dude, it's.
When's the Varane deal? Okay, at least Casemiro can play. When's Varane's deal?
This is what I'm trying to say is that like even if you got a new owner, it's like no one's taking that contract with Casemiro. No one's taking that contract for Varane. Sancho, right? Sancho news.
I mean, those players are better than Sancho. Casemiro and Varane, like they have useful. Like Sancho, bro, no one will pay us $1.
Casemiro will not be useful in 2025.
No, I concur.
I'm just telling you.
I agree. But Sancho,
and you owe him $40 million.
No one will pay us $1 for Jadon Sancho because we have. What do we say? $60 million that we owe him. Like no one is going to pay you for Jadon Sancho because they're going to expect you to pay them to take on his contract.
Oh my God, it's a tough thing to say. I mean, like you look at Newcastle, Isaac is the big money guy, and he got 6 years.
Yeah, he's young. Though.
He gets £6 million a year. He makes £6 million a year, right? And we have guys making 18 at United. That's why I'm saying this isn't like a easy. This isn't an easy solution. Like you look at the Sancho deal, how you get rid of him. Juventus are interested in them, but like
they're cheap.
They're not going to pay. No. They can't take the wages, right? This whole thing is a mess. You can't move off of any of these deals. That's why I'm saying it's just absolutely horrible. We're going to extend Victor Lindelof's contract again. This is a player who played okay during this spell, but is he at best fourth choice center back? I mean, he should be literally Johnny Evans. Like, we should have 4 center backs ahead of him, and to re-sign him is interesting.
I mean, it's interesting when you think about Manchester United. What's the motto you coined, sir? It's good and cheap. It's like he's okay. He's not a starter. He's not even second starter or the next guy up. He's fourth. He's okay at a fourth. And then if you lean on him too much, he kind of crumbles. But he doesn't have the consistency to be a Manchester United player. And I don't mind Victor, but
who has the consistency to be a United player?
This team, nobody.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody.
That's
nobody.
You have to admit, and this is what's crazy, and you can call me insane, but literally the goalposts have moved since we signed Lindelof. Where he came into the team and we were like, all right, he's not good enough. And at that time it was we were getting rid of players who weren't good enough. Now we just keep him. It's keep Fred through the whole deal. Don't make anything off him. Lindelof, re-sign him for no reason. And Maguire don't. There used to be an urgency of we got to get better players.
Donny Van
now
Beek's
we
still hanging around, bro.
That's why there used to be a get rid of players who weren't good thing. We don't even do that anymore. This is just bodies hanging around the hoop till their deals run out. We're a zombie franchise of players, and it's just that is really probably what's killing the locker room. It's just there's no consequences to playing bad. Think of how quickly we used to get rid of players when they weren't turning up, and this is just something about United where I feel we're that the motto of that frog in the pot boiling. We're just so bad that we don't even remember what being good is anymore.
Well, it starts from the top, sir, and part of this is because we give these players who don't deserve it huge fucking contracts. Who would give Jadon Sancho $350,000 a week, even coming out of Dortmund? He was good. He wasn't the best player in Germany. We know who that player was. He ended up on the other side of Manchester. So this is just even if you had a good owner come in tomorrow, it would take 5 years to fix all the shit. There's so much.
Yeah, there isn't even a player
at this firm. Go ahead.
There's no player you could sign. I'm saying there's no player that I want that could fix anything that is broken at United at the moment. There isn't any we can bring Holland, he wouldn't score. It's there's no player that can solve what we're in. We're in such a mess.
6 or 7 players. You need a couple more center backs, another fullback, at least another striker or two, couple wingers, couple a CDM. You need 7 players. Easy.
Center backs.
We need center backs. 2 center backs. You need 2 center backs. A fullback.
You need a proper backup goalie. You need 3 center backs.
2 strikers.
You literally gotta bounce. You need another right back. You need another left. Sign Reguilon. You need to the midfield is literally get rid of everyone except for Mason Mount. Casemiro is no Mason Mount and Bruno, and then Amrabat, Cass, it's those things you just got to blow up the midfield again. Then you need to sign. You need to get rid of Anthony. You need to get rid of Sancho. You need to figure out if Ahmad's good or not. You need to sign another great right winger. You need another left winger. Rashford almost has to just you got to flip over that coin, figure that out, and you need 2 number 9s. You're 9.
I'm telling you,
10 players away.
Easy.
And then half of those players aren't going to work out. So you got to sign another. It's
another 4. Yeah, tell you, dude. It's we got 5 years. Best case. That's a new owner comes in and knows exactly what they're doing. It would still take years.
But you got to get rid of you got to get rid of it. I look at this team and you're you got to get rid of every. Who from this team would you keep? If you're saying, hey, I get £1 billion, and who do you keep?
Honestly,
yes,
Bruno, Højlund, Rashford, Martinez, Luke Shaw, AWB. I mean, you need 2 new center backs. Right wing, we got no one on right wing. I wouldn't keep Anthony. I wouldn't keep Sancho. I'd keep the kids. I like Ahmad and I like Facundo. They're not ready, but I'd keep them because they're young. Who else? Midfield, it's hard to savage everybody, but Amrabat, he's early. What do you know about him?
The one thing that I would say, it's almost you even need to you got to just clean house so hard to just get rid of all.
I got you got 6 people. We have 30 guys in the squad.
I know, but you got to erase everything that's ever happened in the last 6 years. You got to just change the wallpaper, repaint it all. You got to do something. You got to just get rid of all the bad juju, and you got to start from people that haven't been affected by this because something's going on there. We were cursed, and I was watching the game today. You know what came to my mind? I was the universe is perfect because we had it so good for so long, and it's just no matter what, it's just going to be shit for so long.
Dude, what happened?
Because that's it.
That's
dude.
what happens,
That's it.
bro. That's what happened to the Scousers. They were fucking dominant, and then they couldn't win they couldn't fall in a league for 30 years. We're gonna say, dude, we got 20 more years, so just enjoy the ride, lean back, accept mediocrity, and one day the good times will come back.
And the last bit of news, absolutely heartbreaking. Sir Alex Ferguson's wife, Kathy, passed away this week at 84. She featured a lot in his biographies. He always spoke of her. I felt like she was sort of an assistant manager at Manchester United, and our hearts go out to Sir Alex and his family because it's a sad news.
No, it's unbelievably tragic for a man who's had some tough goings over the last couple of years, especially Kathy, pulled him out of retirement in 2002. He was thinking about hanging up his cleats then. He's like, she's like, what are you going to do all day? you got to do something. You got to stay busy. You're not going to sit around with me.
We're going to start a podcast,
Yeah. So our hearts go out to him. That's horrible news, sir. We could use a Fergie around these days, couldn't we?
All right. Jumping into fan questions. Let's see the tenor. At Jamal Mota, sirs, relying on McSauce in the final minutes to win us games is not a great look. No clue what's happening to this team, but good grit to come back at the death. It's not good enough. Ten Hag in, Glazers out. At Miller KDJ, McTominay, academy lad, marginalized to the fringes by Ten Hag, effectively saves his job. Sometimes hard work, heart, and passion are greater than raw talent. Ten Hag should take a note. What do you make about that? McTominay on the outs, but the manager were coming in to save him.
I mean, he was walking in Munich, so he wasn't exactly earning a spot in the side. He should have come on earlier, but he made his moment, and hopefully the manager isn't petty and we'll play him again because fucking play him and Hoyland up front. They're like two giant units. Maybe we'll score some goals.
At Rolling the Deep 1995, I need some help. Who are these people in red shirts showing fight at the end? Did players who were playing previously swap shirts with them? How did that happen? Jesus Christ, this team. At Whatever Clever 9, quote, it's been a rough start to the season when our players get healthy. I'm fully confident we are a top 4 team. I still think Onana is going to calm down and be just fine. I have some faith still. This win had my whole trailer park on alert, or maybe that was just me screaming. I like that one. I do think that, if we can get healthy and a little momentum,
it's important,
we
bro.
can make a run to top 4. I do.
We're 4 points out. It's insane. We played utter garbage, and we're not that far out. And you know how hard the EPL is. It's about us. If we could cobble together some wins, the other teams they're going to drop points. But it's we got a lot of game left.
No, I think that's what we try. It's and again, don't day trade this team. We're not amazing. We're not horrid.
Right,
it's just
exactly.
It's going to be a long season. But I'm just letting you know that the good news is we can still make a run, and we have a lot of bodies still out. At Glazers Out FC, McSauce bleeds for this team. Not a good performance, but a win is a win, and maybe this is what we need to kick on. At MJ Fitz, thank God. Please be the boost and emotional kick in the ass this team needs. And at Mike United Mets, we're going to end on this one. My God, what a relief to finally have something break our way. Better team for 80 of the 90 minutes, completely dominant in the second half, and a well-deserved win. Fergie time is fitting considering the news this week. International break, mental health is on the rise, sirs. I don't know if we dominated, Mike, but I'll give you the good vibes there at the end.
Hey, you know what? I think there was 4 minutes where we looked like old Manchester United. We went from scoring the first goal to the second goal. I know we're numpties and Muppets, dude. And you know what? Highs and lows. I like what you said. We're not as good or as bad as either. But it was fun for those last 5 minutes because you were we're getting a goal. As soon as we got that first goal, the team felt like they were going to will it in. And you know what? We can have nice things sometimes, can't we? Even though this team has big issues.
No, and these big emotional, I'm not trying to kick your comment, Mike. I'm just trying to say this big emotional win might be the thing that spurs us on to then, play the better football, be braver, feel the magic at Old Trafford. I just kind of feel like that could be the catalyst. And at M. Hersey 5, quote, nothing like a big win in Fergie time. That one was for Lady Kathy. Rest in peace. # Glazers out, sir. What a podcast. What a day. What a match. 90 minutes of brutal football, then bam, Manchester United come alive, 3 points. And most importantly, everyone take a break. Have a good international break. We don't have to hear all the back pages in England calling for a manager's head, and that is something where I can sleep soundly. I can sleep and not have to stress about
until
it.
Bramble
and
Lane,
not
sir.
hear about it.
Bramble Lane. We got Bramble Lane in 2 weeks. You're gonna know Piers Morgan interviews in the next 2 weeks. Yeah, like another Piers Morgan interview. Like what the fuck?
That sounds like a hard. I mean, we've always talked about Bramble Lane. Such a hard stadium.
The Blades,
sir.
bro. The Blades. I mean, that's a hell of a mascot. Anyway,
Give us our top 10 downloads.
Number 1, how you doing? Los Angeles, California, New York, Chicago, Illinois, Dublin, Ireland, Dallas, Texas, Brooklyn, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Oslo, Norway, Melbourne, Australia, and last but not least, Houston, Texas. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do without you. Sweet wouldn't taste so sweet without the bitter, sir. We got a little bit of both today, but enjoy it. Enjoy the international break, and we'll see you all on the other side.